guys! Okay, so I want to begin my statement here by getting a little crowd participation. I want to ask you guys, who here among us is human? So, I've been watching The Good Place a lot lately with my wife. It's the first time she's ever seen it. If you've never seen it, this is your homework assignment. Go watch The Good Place. It's a banger. But it set out to ask a question that is very profound and near and dear to my heart. What do we owe to each other? To answer that, I want to, commit a bit of a sin. I'm going to ask a question with a question. Who determines your humanity? I watched a video recently about the last times in history people were reduced to objects or animals. It's called dehumanization. Merriam-Webster defines it as depriving someone or something of human qualities, personality, or dignity. An example posted in the video was the Rwandan genocide of 1994, where 520,000 to 702,000 Tutsi were murdered over 100 days due to racial tensions and civil war in the region at the time. American propaganda distributed after the bombing of Pearl Harbor in 1941 depicted Japanese people as roaches with buck teeth. The Marine Corps were described as being especially trained in combating this type of pestilence, and Tokyo was referred to as a breeding ground that must be annihilated. This sort of dehumanizing language is not new if you've been paying attention. Our leaders have always been very comfortable using it to describe marginalized communities, whether at home or abroad. And because we're constantly being bombarded by new and terrible information, you might not have even noticed. I don't know if you ever heard the term dog whistles, but usually only dogs can hear those whistles. Terms like alien and illegal are now unfortunately colloquial with referring to immigrants, whether they've come the right way or not, quotation marks. In Kansas, just earlier this month, overnight, the state government there invalidated trans people's driver's licenses, in some cases if they never even changed their gender marker at all. It is acts like this that rob people of their humanity. It is not just calling names or slurs anymore. It is legislative moves and acts of power that strip groups of their personhood. It is much easier to justify the arrest of an illegal alien and throw him in some detention center with subpar conditions than to arrest Juan Montoya Utreras, who's lived here for 50 years, never broken the law beyond maybe a speeding ticket, has a neighborhood business and a large family waiting for them at home. It is so much easier to throw a trans person in jail for just being something that you don't understand when you never saw them as a person to begin with. So what do we owe to each other? I argue we owe each other our humanity. And for that, you need to care about other people. People should get the chance to realize their own happiness, but not at the expense of others. And if you take anything away from my words today, please take these next ones to heart. There are no good ones. Free yourself of the idea of perfection. There are just people, perfect or imperfect. There are candidates, perfect or imperfect. Everyone is a person and they deserve humanity. Yes, even that person you just thought about. Dehumanization is not a rational thought process because it falls apart when you start to compare the target of dehumanization to other humans. You'll find it's largely conditional, it's subjective. You cannot rely on a person whose worldview and view of others is conditional on things that are unalienable. I saw some signs out here that said, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. If you don't believe that I deserve that, we can't talk. Water, a home, safety. For example, when racists say things like, you're one of the good ones to minorities. Of course, no single person in the world is a monolith, but what makes you a good one versus the next minority they know? Is it simply friendship, the proximity to approval? What happens when you disagree on something or have an interpersonal conflict? Are you no longer one of the good ones? And what made them judge, jury, and executioner in the first place? If my right to being a human is conditional, we cannot have a human conversation. Hatred needs hierarchy. There is always someone to be lesser than, and there's always someone to be better than you. Fascism needs someone to bully and look down on, to say they are not human. Lyndon B. Johnson once stated, if you can convince the lowest white man he's better than the best colored man, he won't notice you're picking his pocket. Shit. give him somebody to look down on. He'll empty your pockets for you. I recently learned the term moral disengagement. It's described as a cognitive function where a person convinces themselves that ethical standards no longer apply in any situation. It allows them to separate their internal moral compass from their harmful actions, removing their guilt about those actions. So Eva Lise Carlstrom asked an important question. How do we win against evil when they have all the tools and all the weapons and will justify any action without moral ground? When they have settled so deeply into moral disengagement that they don't care about anything anymore. You know who I'm talking about. I'm gonna bring it back to The Good Place. Chidi Anagonye put it best. He was a moral philosophy professor in the show. He says, why choose to be good every day if there is no guaranteed reward we can count on now or in the afterlife? I argue that we choose to be good because of our bond with other people and our innate desire to treat them with dignity. Simply put, we are not in this alone. Caring about other people creates trust. Trust creates collaboration. You don't have to watch your own back when you're not living selfishly. Now is the time in history to speak up when injustice happens. Dehumanization happens loudly when others are quiet. Fighting fascism and hatred takes consistency. It's going to be a long fight, y'all. It really is. But we're going to have to do this every single day until things change. I mean, speak up. Get loud. I genuinely believe with my whole heart that we can get rights for everybody in this crowd and beyond. Nothing taken away just for some understanding or, not getting who this person is. Fascism and hatred breeds when you don't understand other people. When you fill in the gaps with hatred. This change is going to be uncomfortable, but it's going to take all of us. But you got to start somewhere, and if you can't start big, start small. Boycott, divest your money. It's easy to not spend it all at places. Spotify, ChatGPT, Gemini, McDonald's, Chick-fil-A, start there. Not spending your money at places that are voting to make your life worse will satisfy us all in the long run. And I know there's no ethical consumption under capitalism, but we can damn sure try. You're gonna need to get okay with being uncomfortable, because I promise you the discomfort that we are all headed for, if we just keep letting things go the way, it'll be much worse. It'll be so much worse. Make the choice to be better. Love your fellow man before we don't get a choice. I believe in a better future for all of us, and we'll do it for each other, because regardless of what a culture war says, what the fascists in power want for everyone, there are way more of us than them, and they fucking know that. They want us hating each other. They want us uneducated. People can't pay their bills, going hungry while we argue what defines a woman or a man. Are we serious? They are counting on keeping us divided, but I could have sworn that we are one American people. For better or for worse. Read, write, be creative right now. They don't want you doing that. And speaking as a trans man, if you have a trans person in your life, if you have an immigrant, anybody being targeted by this administration, now is the time to love them loudly, love them publicly, love them until you're tired, and then love them after that. I'd like to end my statement today by reading the poem that's inscribed on the Statue of Liberty, which, if you didn't know, during Trump's first administration, there was someone who tried to get that removed and argued that it's not about immigration. But I want to know y'all's opinion. So I'm going to read this, and you tell me what you think, okay? Go ahead. This poem is called The New Colossus by Emma Lazarus. Not like the brazen giant of Greek fame, with conquering limbs astride from land to land. Here, at our sea-washed sunset gates shall stand a mighty woman with a torch, whose flame is the imprisoned lightning, and her name, Mother of Exiles. From her beacon hand glows worldwide welcome. Her mild eyes command the air-bridged harbor that twin cities frame. Keep ancient lands your storied pomp, cries she, with silent lips. Give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses yearning to breathe free, the wretched refuse of your teeming shore. Send these, the homeless, tempest-tossed to me. I lift my lamp beside the golden door. Thank you for your time.